You get to hear me introduce our next speaker for a little bit. And I'll start with just a short story about Tammy. Tammy used to work for us in Madeira. She was our events coordinator. And I don't know if any of you have been to McDonald Commons Park, but we had a bit of a party last year. Had a big grand opening. Hopefully some of you were there, but it was quite an event. And Tammy did a ton of work with our Parks and Rec team to pull that off. And I just remember the fireworks were like the last thing to go off at night. And Tammy comes up to me. She's like, someone needs to do the countdowns. Okay, we'll get the countdown done. And her phone battery was totally done. And I'm sure she was working for 48 hours straight to pull this off. And she was going strong. She was just on it with everything. So her work ethic really helped make a great park opening. And so I can't wait to hear the story that you're about to tell. And you're going to have to speak into the microphone really loud. We're still troubleshooting it, but
We don't have to write it.
the next speaker is Tammy Cuevas. Her title is A Mother's Love. We welcome she'll talk about caring for generations of others. So please welcome Tammy to the microphone.
Hi, everybody. I feel like
Sure.
a movie star in here with all those lights and all these people. It's kind of weird. Happy Pride Month. Happy Pride Month. I'm so happy to see so many familiar faces I've seen all day today. As was stated, I worked doing events here for almost 2 years, just ended in February of this year. And one of my greatest joys was working with the Madeira Inclusion Committee. I wish every city had an inclusion committee. They're wonderful people. They're my people. And don't be jealous. If you're here, I know you're my people too. It's life affirming to me to work with a group that is dedicated to treating people as they would like to be treated. It's such an old idea, and yet today it seems like a new idea all over again. These people make everyone feel welcome because they understand that life is so much better when we embrace our community and we enjoy our diversity. I am 62 years old, and I am a cisgender straight female. I think I got that right. I had to consult with my son about that. I have 3 lovely children, and the middle one, my son Antonio, just happens to be gay. And these 3 people are the only people on earth that I know I love unconditionally. I may love my mother unconditionally. I may love my husband unconditionally, but only sometimes. But I could be super mad at my children, just furious. But eventually love, like a flower or a weed, comes poking through my resolve. About 10 years ago, when Antonio was 18, he told me that he wanted to talk alone with me, and I said, okay. That day, as I was deadheading flowers in Grandma's garden, he told me that he is gay. My husband and I had our suspicions, but we weren't sure. And I hope I don't offend anyone by saying what I'm about to say, but when Antonio was growing up, whenever he played with his friends, they played superheroes a lot of the time. And his friends, his guy friends, usually pretended to be Superman or Spider-Man. And Antonio was always Sailor Moon. So we thought, maybe. I wish I could say that I simply embraced him when he gave me this news. But the first thing I felt was fear. Fear for the things that might happen in his life. Sorrow for the things that might not be. And fear that he would not be accepted by everyone. And that his life would be harder than I had hoped. I told him that his father and I loved him and would always be there for him. But I wondered how convincing I was to my fear. I lived with this conversation and this knowledge in the back of my mind for months. Maybe longer. And when I saw that he was struggling, I felt helpless. You see, I know what it's like to see someone you love excluded and thought of as less than, when you know that they are really more than. My family's from Puerto Rico, and when I was a teenager, I overheard my mother, a nurse, telling her parents that one of her patients told the hospital's management that he did not want a Puerto Rican in his room. Thankfully, the hospital told him that my mom was a great nurse, and that if he didn't want her in his room, he would have to find another hospital. But I was struck by the injustice of it all, and I never forgot the rejection of my mother, and I grew very, very protective of her. This was a daughter's love, so like a mother's love, ferocious because of the bond between a mother and child. And of course, we know that family isn't just about your biological relatives. In many cases, it's adoptive parents and friends that make up your family, the family you choose, and grow to love, and that love is just as strong. I am like most mothers, though. I wanted to protect my son. I wanted to go everywhere that he went, to games, to parties, on dates. Of course, as much as he loved me, this idea did not resonate with him. And for the past 10 years, we have gone back and forth with this tease. Mom, I'm 21 years old. I'm a grown man. And then I say something like, until the day I die, your business is my business. I am a Puerto Rican mother and I could be a little bit obnoxious. And or I say something like, I am not your friend. I am your mother, and that means that I am willing to die for you. And then you stay quiet to let that sink in. I wish I had a daughter. I wish I had a dollar for every time that I've been told to chill in my life, but chilling is not a skill that I have mastered. On January 29th of this year, I turned 62, and Antonio, who was born on my birthday, I love that, he turned 28. I realize that approximately 10 years have gone by since that evening when my son summed up all his bravery and told me that he was gay. And it occurred to me that I have slowly, very slowly, learned to relax a little bit. I know that Antonio has had hard times, but he has had some great times too. He doesn't tell me everything because he knows that I worry, but I see that the reality is that we have walked side by side these 10 years and we have protected each other. Not by eliminating all the bad things or all the hurtful experiences, but by a million late night conversations, a few hugs, hundreds of supportive text messages, and lots of I love yous, both spoken and unspoken. This is what I know about my son. He is brave. He suffers from anxiety as so many young people do these days, and he realizes that these are particularly uncertain times where to some cruelty seems to be a necessity, and to others it is entertainment. But he has a strong sense of justice, and he is a connoisseur of fairness. He works with autistic children now, and he is kind, patient, and protective of them. It reminds me of our relationship. He talks about these young autistic people that he sees every day with such understanding, such interest, such compassion, and I love that about him. Like me and Antonio, members of this community walk hand in hand with mothers and fathers, with siblings, cousins, significant others, neighbors, and friends who support them. And this makes us all more resilient to anything that comes our way. Together with these people, we must talk, embrace, encourage, seek to understand, and yet sometimes we will disagree and argue and cry, and then we make up. But most importantly, we must all dare to show the ferocity and unshakable commitment of a mother's love. Thank you.